Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here Pay Here morning show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. And those of you who kind of follow us on the social media Facebook thing, I posted a picture this morning of our podcast studio. So if you, have been looking, our console's on an ironing board.
Yeah, studio is kind of a loose, that's a loose phrase for what we got set up here.
Yeah, we're on the road. Happen to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and really happy to we're out here visiting a client, and,
Right.
and just really enjoying getting to know the team.
Yeah.
And today we're doing a bunch of actual team interviews, and
I spent some time with the client yesterday. As part of the nature of what we do sometimes is we use our weekends because it's good for the clients, quiet, and so we met with them yesterday and had a productive day, and today we go back for follow-up. And in light of some of the recent conversation around auditing and protection, it's something we always do, and something we'll be digging into deeper today is kind of what I call gaping holes, helping the dealer identify areas of vulnerability and make sure that we keep certain windows closed or openings closed in the in this space. So interesting work.
Yeah. A couple things. Just want to let y'all remind you. I know you guys getting tired of this, but hey, if you haven't already, circle October 19th on your calendar. We're going to be broadcasting live from the first pilot.
Yep.
Buy Here, Pay Here Regional Town Hall. Mr. Tommy Brandis is going to be hosting that. And so October 19th, we'll be broadcasting live. You can catch us on some of the Facebook pages that we normally are on, or groups, and YouTube, and possibly the nation.com.
Right.
thehphnation.com.
Yep. And we should be releasing the agenda on that. The tentative first agenda should go out this week. So look for that.
Yeah. Also, FIADA, the Florida Independent Automobile Dealers Association. We will be speaking at that also on October 4th. It runs the 2nd through the 4th. We're speaking on the 4th, and they have graciously accepted our offer to broadcast our address live. And so we'll be doing that as well. So that's coming up a little bit before the town hall. So, you'll be able to catch that same places, all of that. Also, I wanted to, we at a hotel, we're downstairs. We don't watch TV at home. We really don't even have a TV at home.
Oh no, where are you going with this?
So, we head down. What, we didn't talk about this before. So we head down to in the mornings. We usually stay at Hampton Inns. You're welcome, Hilton, for the plug. We usually stay at Hampton Inns because we get breakfast, and we we're creatures of habit, and so we get up, and usually at home we head to the coffee pot and get it brewing. But we're at a hotel, so we head downstairs and have a couple cups of coffee, and the news was running, and everyone here knows that we just had an anniversary of a very important date in this country. Yesterday was 9/11, or the anniversary of 9/11. And I was just kind of watching some of the news broadcasts on that. And I was thinking, we saw like a lot of these young people out there doing things that in honor of 9/11. And I looked at Jim and I said, they weren't even alive when that happened.
Right.
And I think you and I, were both of your kids alive?
Yes.
Yeah, I know my two oldest were. My two youngest weren't alive. I mean, it's been a really been quite a while, and I just I those of you out there who might have been touched by that, our condolences. I know it's been a while, but it still was a pretty
everyone
pretty
remembers where they
traumatic
were when that happened. I was with a client in Northern Illinois whenever that happened, and we all stood around the TV like everybody everywhere, and just were And I remember we were all watching when the second plane
hit,
with
just like utter
And we all knew
shock.
instantly. We all recognized instantly. Before that, we thought we were
That was
dealing
an
with
oddity. What the heck was that? Did
Yeah.
someone veer
Yeah,
off of something? Oh my
exactly.
gosh, that was an accident.
And then
That
the second one, it's like all
Yeah.
of us. So then it was just really devastating news.
Yeah, and I think I was at my parents', and so
Oh, yeah.
the kids were just toddlers, and they were watching Cartoon Network or something, and we were just glued to the TV. So
Yeah, of course.
so yeah, we had that happen this weekend, and so I just wanted to anyone that that felt that effect personally, our condolences. Also yesterday we had the opportunity. We're in Tulsa again. Went to a place called Pub W. I highly recommend anyone coming into Tulsa. Pub W.
Yeah.
We had something that we were thinking was going to be a smoked old fashioned.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
like, oh,
Didn't work
is this
out.
a smoked old fashioned? Because we saw flames. But no. So we didn't take pictures and the Facebook thing. But what they did is they used the butane torch on the orange peel,
Right.
and then it did stuff with it that way, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It
Nice
wasn't
drink.
a smoked old
No,
fashioned.
it was not. So you didn't get
It
the
was
photos. No.
pretty good. And last thing is those of you who well, I don't know if we've really talked about it very much, but I'm going to be, I call it out of pocket. Tomorrow I fly out of Tulsa and head to Salt Lake to visit my mom, and then on to Tahoe. And I realized this morning when I checked the weather that I did not pack right.
Oh, poor thing.
It's the highs are like 60 and the lows are freezing.
It's the mountains.
And I get that, but we live in Florida. We checked the weather this morning. It was like they were saying here it was 40 or whatever. It was cool. And so Jim was like, let's see what the weather's like at home. And it's 80 degrees at home. And we're like, oh man, I love Florida for that reason.
I'll be back there soon.
Yeah.
Michelle's going on to the west part of the country, but we got, we had nice, cool, crisp weather here in Tulsa, nice clear mornings. And one of the things I miss about Oklahoma, I lived in Oklahoma for a long time, and I do enjoy the fall weather in this part of the country.
Yeah. And so while I'm in Tahoe, Jim has a lineup of some different guests that will be taking my place. So yeah, and we'll just see if, I think some of these you can get some pretty good banter going on back and forth.
Oh, we're going to have fun.
Yeah. So that'll be really fun. I may call in.
Yeah.
And add my 2 cents.
We'll
Who
see.
knows? Okay. So today we talked a couple weeks ago about the effective collections, and Jim did an article years ago called the 9 E's.
Right.
And so we were going to work on the second E, which is educate today.
Right. So we'll take you through all of those. When we get to the end, we'll share the article itself. But basically, number 2 is educate, and it's really about it's kind of communication and education wrapped into one thing. So how do we inform our customers about how we do business, and especially how that might be different from other dealers that they've worked with or other places where they've financed in the past? This is part of where we have an opportunity, and I say a responsibility, to communicate as clearly with the customer as we possibly can about what they can expect in dealing with their account throughout a 3 and 4 year business relationship. And so this is where I think it's a missed opportunity. We see so many dealers where we're moving to digital signatures and we're signing on a tablet, and people are just rush, initial here, sign here, and the customer, while it's legal, I mean, I get that we're buttoning up the thing legally, we're missing an opportunity to communicate more clearly with the customer and help them understand exactly how things are going to work.
Yeah. And there's a lot of information. I don't know the last time that you guys, anyone out there in listener land, bought a car. There's a lot of pages of stuff and the things, and you usually will refer to all of the pages of stuff to remind yourself. It's like, oh yeah,
sure,
that's right. We should be getting this in the mail, and our first payment will be this, and all of those things. And not everybody does that though too. And so this is a really great opportunity with Educate, is to really kind of solidify the things that are important to your contract.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about even more generic than your particular contract and when your first payment is due. Certainly, that should happen. That should get communicated in the closing as we review the contract. I'm really talking about um, how to express to every customer what the relationship is going to look like. For example, to tell the customer, here's what, because I often say our customers in Buy Here Pay Here, and this is true of other segments too, but certainly in Buy Here Pay Here, we find that often customers don't know how to help themselves, which means we have to tell them what tools and resources we have available. So it's simply, for me, some examples would be that we would want to express to the customer as clearly as possible, ideally through video. We would have a short closing video so that every customer hears exactly the same thing. And we can talk to them about, here's what happens, here's what we recommend that you do in the event that you're facing some mechanical problems, for example, or here's what to do if you're short on your car payment. So it just kind of expresses to them, or here's what's going to happen with your plates, or whatever the common things are that you find are an issue with your customer in terms of communication, the most common questions, frequently asked questions. So you can include those frequent answers, and you can tell them, here's what to do if you have a problem with your car or if you have a problem with your payment. So again, a closing video. And then beyond that, I recommend now, one of the things we've started recommending most recently is, in addition to the actual closing video, and let's say, for example, the closing video has 4 points in it. You're going to talk to them about the GPS device. You're going to talk to them about what to do in the case of mechanical repairs. Then I would recommend even short videos go out to them by email after delivery.
Text,
or text after delivery, so that there's a follow-through element to help the customer, because people are busy on the day that they're buying the car. Sometimes they've got kids and they're a little distracted. So if I can strip to them a simple little short video after they buy, 2 days after they buy, they get the first video that says, don't forget, this is what to do if you've come across mechanical problems or whatever.
Just like a quick,
Short
not
little,
like the entire video again, but just a quick reminder. Hey, just, we're really happy to have you as part of as one of our customers, and here's how we are going to be helping to support you, and if you have any questions, call. And
so it's just now occurring to me, maybe we should refer to that as kind of continuing education, because
I like
always
that
talk
even
about
better.
it's, to me, it's kind of like this idea that we say to the customer certain things, and those at the time of delivery, those come across as promises, and to a lot of customers those probably sound like empty promises in terms of warranty and some of these kind of things, and how to manage car payment and this sort of thing. So I think when we can continue to do what I call follow through, some people call it follow up, I call it follow through. It's like we want to demonstrate to the customer that those things that we said to you on the day of delivery, we mean it. And so here's a short video to share with you that we meant what we said. Here's the thing. Here's what we want you to do if you have a problem with your car payment or whatever. And so it's just ongoing education.
Now, we live in an era, in a time where the stuff that you need to create a digital asset, a video, a podcast, whatever it is so accessible to, how many of you have a cell phone with a camera on it?
Sure.
You have everything you need to create the video.
Right.
Really. We have a business coach, and I remember when we were saying, we have we're coaches, and we have a coach.
I think Tiger Woods has a coach.
I think
too,
and he's like
a billionaire.
So we were sitting with our coach before we created the institute, the Buy Here Pay Here Institute, bhphinstitute.com, plug. And we were talking about, we want to create this online learning platform. It's something that's very new. That there's really nothing out there like it. That's general education that, allows people to come in and watch things at their own time, little bits, as they're sitting at an auction, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that she really, really stressed strongly to us was better done than perfect.
Right.
And so, I know that people that are new to taking little videos, it's like, oh, my hair was wrong, or it's like it's that doesn't matter as long as the quality of what they're hearing is good
Mhm.
and they can get the message and you don't have a piece of spinach in your teeth, but
Yeah.
that might be funny.
Right.
That it's better done than perfect. And your customer will appreciate that you're doing the thing and reaching out to them to do the thing. And I know for we have we were working on this branding and marketing course with a client of ours. They were kind of the beta for developing the curriculum for this, and we really encouraged our client to start doing little videos
Mhm.
of just the stuff
Right.
around the
CRM
this
and
the or and also here's a little helpful something and the things and the like this is what a bald tire looks like
oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And at first he was very apprehensive
Mhm.
about doing the thing. And so Jim shot a couple quick little videos and sent it to him and says, like, this is what we mean. Better done than perfect, but it's like getting the message out there.
Mhm.
And so we went through this whole thing with him, and it's just practice. So if you feel uncomfortable doing something like that, it's really fun for us now that we watch his Facebook page,
Mhm.
and he is always putting out just little, it's just, hey,
Yeah.
so and so here, and just wanted to let you know the things. So, I mean, if you're uncomfortable with making little videos,
Mhm.
just it's I know that sounds easier.
Yeah, to some that
Dig in
yeah.
and or if you are so adverse to it, but you got a team member who's like always on social media or
Right.
something, that they might really be, oh, yeah, I'll do it for you.
Sure.
Let's get this going.
Well, and you can throw, I mean, you don't have to have lapel microphones. You
No.
don't have to have with today's cell phones, a simple little tripod is a good idea because you want the video to at least be stable. But
Yeah.
beyond that, I would say, gosh, it could be handheld in a selfie
Absolutely.
style video. I think for me, the biggest thing about the subject of education
Mhm.
and where video can play a big part in collections is having consistency of the message at the time of delivery. And so I said, before, during, and after closing, that
Mhm.
the message is consistent. So that the other nice thing about having that thing recorded, where, whether it's the dealer principal, general manager, whoever's going to record that, that the finished video says what we want to say. Like the content, the
Mhm.
phrasing is what we want to say to the customer. It's what we would say if we were sitting with the customer closing every deal anyway, we hope. But
Mhm.
at least this way you have consistency. Every customer hears exactly the same thing and everybody knows exactly what's being said.
And I want to just focus on the consistency thing.
Mhm.
Is that we've been in dealerships where it's the closing spiel is not consistent, and the dealer principal is like, man, I wish they would stop forgetting to mention the thing
Right.
or the stuff or whatever. This is a really great way of every single person, whatever it is that the dealer principal really
Right.
wants to communicate, that that your customer is really being reminded of the things that are important for
Well, and I think, yeah, this part
their.
about educate, it's one thing, as I said, to have them initial, did the customer initial the GPS disclosure? Sure. I mean, yeah, you're legally covered. Like they did their initials or they signed the document. But I can tell you the last car that I bought, I must have signed that document bundle must have been 35, 40 pages.
Yeah.
Did I read every page that I initialed and signed? No, of course
Have
not.
we? It's been a while. Have
Right.
we read every page since then?
No.
No.
And so the point is you're going to have to, this is our opportunity to express very clearly the things that we want to make sure the customer hears and that because if we're really trying to set up the customer for success,
Mm-hmm.
then this is an opportunity to educate them, re-educate them, continue to enforce that through
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that you do, and continue to help them to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this is where, and so consistency is the first thing. Make sure they all hear the same thing because now we can enforce it, which, oh no, I just gave a clue for a future E word on the, but yeah, now we can begin to enforce what we have set forth is because we now know the customer did hear it. Like we know it was said. They initialed that they watched the video, and we know they watched the video while we were preparing the closing documents. And so we know every customer's hearing that stuff. And we continue to say it and share it with them so that we just, we know that in our line of work, we have to sort of take away excuses. So that's kind of coming at it from a more punitive and enforcement standpoint. But we don't want to set the customer up to fail. We really need to do the best job we can to educate them and help them to be successful.
So as a tool for collectors is that the better we can educate them at the beginning. And, I know that, like we said, is when you're actually going through the process of purchasing a car, there's a lot being thrown at you.
Right.
And so in order to really solidify those things and help collectors know that every single person that is now being passed to them has had the same education, that they've had the same things iterated to them, that it's like these are the important pieces, and that really does help them to know and have a little bit more security in this customer is on the same plane as
Right.
every other customer has been coming that's been coming to us.
Mhm.
So it is a beautiful tool to help your collectors know that everyone has had the exact same message. It's not just for it sells. Your relationship with sales is a couple hours long, but it's really about setting up a very successful relationship with your collectors.
Well, and not to mention, we saw out there on Facebook not long ago people asking about what often is called an expectations letter, like some sort of a document that customers sign in the closing that express expectations. It's one thing to express those expectations in a document. It's another thing to have a salesperson present the documents and add things verbally to what they would want to say, as they have, because they can still be making promises, that are inappropriate or whatever, or kind of outside policy. So that can still happen. But then the other piece to me that's an opportunity in doing video instead of just signing a simple expectations letter is this lets you have consistency in terms of the way that we are able to say to the customer on camera, hopefully with some degree of seeming genuine and authentic in our desire to have them be successful. There's an opportunity there to let's not miss the opportunity to show the customer, because I talk about that quite a bit. It's like, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to show it. So if they can see it on your face that you genuinely want them to be successful, then that you can't do that in an expectations letter very well.
Yeah.
So let's just recognize the opportunity that exists in video and continue to reinforce things through video.
And I want to, we're talking about collections, but I kind of want to, and this is in the realm of collections, and I don't think it's one of the 9 E's. I can't think of where it would fit in, but we spoke at conference this last spring, and it was sell the program, not the car. And after we were done, we had a dealer that raised his hand, and he's like, in the age of ACH, how do I keep connected to my customer?
Right.
Because there are a percentage of your customers that actually still come in and pay cash, and that you see them, but it's becoming a smaller and smaller and smaller percentage, because there are a lot of easier ways in this digital age to be able to pay your bill. And actually, I was with the client that we're with right now. We were kind of talking about this. What does a conversation with someone that's paid off sound like to you? Someone that has been in a relationship for 3 years, and this is true for a lot of dealers. It's like, well, no news is good news. And we didn't hear from them. They paid their entire loan off, and so we don't, that they could come in to get their title. It's like, who's that? Because they wouldn't know, and that there's really no connection. And we were kind of, he mentioned, he's like, I want to get away from that. I want to be able to have a relationship with them. So this idea of doing just short videos of like, here's the stuff. This is what a flat tire, or not a flat tire, but a bald tire looks like. This is what just simple things for maintaining the car, all of that, quick little videos. And then you're sending them out to everybody. And so you're staying at least in front of the customer.
Right.
And so the customer is aware of who you are. And so it's like, hey, if you have any questions, or if you're doing a Goodwill event, what a great way to just, hey, we're going to have a food truck.
Yeah.
If you're a customer of ours, come and get a coupon.
I think now there's a 10th E. You just made me realize there's another one that we can add to this. And you kind of hinted at one of the other future ones that was already on the list of 9, which is engagement. We'll talk about engagement when we get to there. So it's kind of a related subject, and part of how we have success in collections is by keeping the customer engaged, and so that we maintain some level of relationship with them throughout. So
yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to kind of wrap up here a little bit early, but I didn't want you guys to think that we weren't aware of the stuff that was happening in Facebook land. What do we call it on Fridays? Because you were like, we want to do your like Facebook follies, or it just the stuff that's happening in Facebook. That we were aware of the post that went out by Russell Moore, and we weren't going to let that skip without having a conversation about some of that, because we've talked about before about employee theft and those kind of things. And so we just wanted you to know that, yes, we're aware. And that's something that later on in the week, we're planning on having a follow-up conversation about that. So I think probably Friday.
Yeah, there's some important stuff there. And I think for those who aren't Facebook followers and may not know Russell's a well-established dealer who, discovered through an audit that there were some problems that, had been overlooked. And so, he was very, generous as always in his comments about, you folks need to, be aware. It can happen. If it can happen to somebody's experience as I am, it can happen to you. And so it's something for us to follow up and talk about.
So I just wanted to put everybody's mind at ease. We didn't skim over that. We are very well aware. And we also know that we had a conversation with Amanda the other day, and she's like, I have tax stuff that's happening this week. And so I think that we're just giving her a little bit of, we'll talk about this after you're done closing out your tax season for the September 15th filing. And then we'll bring it up so you have a little bit of bandwidth to have a conversation about the stuff. So, all right. Well, guys, have a great Monday, beginning of the week. And, so hopefully you guys have a very successful week. And we will be back on Wednesday morning. We will be broadcasting. Jim will still be in Tulsa, and I will be in Salt Lake. So it'll be an hour earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be separate, but still broadcasting together. So I hope you all tune in then. And so until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Have a great week.